Now, Lisa's only given us 7 minutes to do 3,000 kilometers, so you better listen very hard. As explained, we did the 9 peaks. We rode it by Qhubeka bicycle. This is it. We'll get to it a little bit later. But we haven't got time to talk about the 9 peaks. You will see photographs of it. We will refer to it. But what we're going to talk about is how we go about our adventures. We do it what we call back to basics. Quickly, also while we're, before we start, I want to explain, you see we've got a cooler wall here, and we have a sin bin. During this show, we're going to put things on here that are good, and throw things in there that are bad for our basic, back to basics adventures.
We've previously done other adventures, but here along comes the Buffalo bike, our noble, loyal steed. This is the self-same bike that's standing here. Colin can tell you a bit more about the Qhubeka bike itself.
It's a solid steel bicycle, 28 kilograms, single speed, no suspension, pedal back rear brake. Very hard to push up on hills.
When we started this trip, we got a good sponsor in behalf of ER Consulting. When we get sponsors for the trips, we don't ask them to give us money to do the trip. Any donation that we receive goes directly to our chosen charity, in this case, Qhubeka. And there's me with my bike.
We put 9 gold bands on Bianca's bicycle, and every time we completed a peak, we actually put a little sticker on there saying, well done, or something like that. Good work.
Try harder next time.
It gave us a target, and it gave us motivation. This is one of the places we stayed at. No, it's not actually. It's on the route to Mafadi. We spent most of our time camping, and we kept everything really back to basics. Things like water, bottled water in the sin bin. River water stays in the cool wall.
This is at the top of the gully. Quite a climb, actually. My hair's a bit of a mess. It was freezing cold, and this is us on our bikes. Where was this?
This is on the way to Sentinel Car Park.
Ah, indeed. And the Sentinel Peak Road was a bit of an exciting part of the trip because as reliable as these bikes are, we very rarely have them break down. When we were on our cycle back down Sentinel Peak, my rear brake failed. As I was heading towards a cliff, I had a few choice words for my father. As I went past him, I said, "Oh dear."
And as you see from the picture, some of the roads here were very, very bad.
Colin kind of botched the landing on that one. He was trying to manual off it, but...
Our clothing is very much back to basics. This is what we wear to cycle. This is what we wear to hike.
We are always this stylishly dressed.
African shirts designed ourselves, made by my sister-in-law. Shorts from Pep, 39 Rand. Ackerman's Tackies, 129 Rand.
These are our famous rain jackets. They're just as effective at keeping sweat in as they are at keeping rain out. So let's say something for modern technology. Breathability is good. These have been fondly become to be known as our yellow serial killer jackets.
Johnson Workwear, 140 Rand. What you need on an expedition like this is you need backup. In our case, we had a driver, a cook, a camp manager, a nurse, a communications officer, and a wildlife protection specialist. That's Maggie, she's sitting there.
When you're on the bike, sometimes you have to make a plan to take photos, so apologies for the bad angle. This was actually a selfie. For anyone that followed the trip, you'll know that there's probably worse selfies right at the end where I had to ride my bicycle on a beach in a bikini to raise more money. Apparently cycling 3,000 k's and climbing 9 peaks isn't quite enough to get the donation target every time.
No tubeless tyres, so punctures was a problem. But on 3,000 kilometers, 7 punctures. One thing it does for you with a puncture is it slows you down. You can look at the scenery, you take more photographs. It's wonderful.
It's actually a wonderful breather on a trip like this. You know, you have to take every opportunity to sit back and relax, and a puncture is great.
All our food is very, very basic. Nothing is pre-prepared. If we want a loaf of bread, we get a flour, we mix it with water and yeast, we make the bread. We don't have anything that's labeled convenient. So there's no energy drinks, no energy bars, no gels, no Coke, no chocolates. We eat cheese sandwiches and peanut butter sandwiches.
If you're wearing
they go on the cool wall.
if you're wondering about the beer in this photo, yes, it's kind of processed, but technically beer is liquid bread.
Speed is a problem on a Qhubeka, or not, as the case may be. On a flat down or flattish downhill, your maximum speed is about 28 k's an hour. Then your legs are going around like Roadrunner.
The good way to maintain speed when you're two cyclists is to do a bit of drafting. It does work on the Qhubeka bikes, even though you're about as aerodynamic as Winston Churchill. We can have a debate later about who sat behind more on this trip.
This is the top of Sever Export, the last of the 9 peaks. The hardest part of finishing any of our adventures, and this is our 5th one together now, is finishing and actually stopping.
Reaching the end was kind of difficult. At the top of Sever Export, we were dressed kind of like this, and we just had longer kind of tracksuit pants and chinos on in my case. We met some hikers on the top in their full garb. They looked very puzzled as to how we managed to get there dressed like that.
All of our adventures, I said we've done 5 long adventures together, are on our website. If you go to www.heavymetalbikes.co.za, you can see everything there, including the 3,000 kilometre 9 peaks. Now, before we close, because our 7 minutes are up, we must just get rid of some of this stuff and put it on our call wall. Pre-packaged food in the bin. Raw vegetables, call wall. Potato chips, sin bin. Potatoes, call wall. Derailleur gears.
Would be nice sometimes.
Energiades, Cokes in the bin. Sweeties in the sin bin. Energy bars, sin bin. Goos in the sin bin. Hydration packs, backpacks in the sin bin.
We use bottles, by the way.
GPS in the sin bin. We work on maps and compasses and odos. This is a little tent I bought. It leaks in the sin bin. One thing we don't do is the banking diet. Not banting, banking. People are making lots of money out of it. Thank you.
That's it.